my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? Welcome back to yet another episode of what can I call it right now at this moment, my darling. But before we get there, let us introduce our wonderful Aretha Abimbola, darling.
Hi everyone, thank you very much.
Happy Sunday. How are you, my sunshine? You look fabulous. I live for that eyeshadow. It's everything, honey. Everything.
Louise Beauty.
Oh my God. When is it not? When is it not? When is it not Louise Beauty?
I love it. Yes, happy Sunday. I'm very glad to be here as always. Like you said, it's an absolute show at the moment with everything going on.
It's an absolute SHIT show. It really is. And I do not know even what to think about it. I have no idea what to think about what is going on right now. But before we start, let me say this. I get a lot of brothers and sisters, my African-American brothers and sisters, Black folk as well, like us, who says, what has this got to do with us? This white Charlie Kirk in white Utah, shot by a white guy, got nothing to do with us. And if it was only that, I would have said you are absolutely right. From the very first episode that I didn't care really very much about Charlie Kirk, this, that, whatever. I could keep it pushing. But I get so many Fumi Nation members who send me information, and I became intrigued. And here's the thing, my Black American brothers and sisters. It might have started with Charlie Kirk, the investigation, the shooting, the assassination. But this really has everything to do with us. Everything. Who is ruling us? Because I am an American citizen too. Yes, my darling. You want to know what's going on, and we have no clue because we have stopped at black and white. We have to be smarter. We have to be smarter, and we have to look at everything because it involves us too. This is bigger than Charlie Kirk. As a matter of fact, it's way bigger. And I did not know that I would be on any platform to say this. But I honestly, deep in my heart, believe that Charlie's conscience played a part somewhere along the lines. And that was why he had a change of heart that cost him his life.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm going to continue with this. My darling Aretha, take the floor.
Thank you. Very, very well said, and such a valid point. I hope people hear that. Okay, like you said, where do we start? The unraveling has been unraveling, and each time I open my app on my phone, I'm like, oh Lord, it's the rabbit hole. It's now it's actually becoming mainstream. Originally, it was a conspiracy theory. You know, there were these different views. Now we are at the point where it is mainstream, and almost everybody is saying that young boy did not shoot. Now, obviously, based on that latest video we watched, which was an absolute shocking eye-opener.
So these are all surgeons at this regional hospital that nobody ever heard of. That's the one they inexplicably took Charlie Kirk to. Instead of taking him to the closer place with a trauma center, they take him to this regional hospital. And it turns out people are Google searching this regional hospital from Israel and Washington, D.C. They're Google searching the medical examiner from Washington, D.C. and Israel. And now we find out they're Google searching the surgeons at that regional hospital from Israel. And they're all on this around the same time cluster.
Of all the things that are now coming to light, and such, and you know, like you said, just being asked, who was Tyler before? Why didn't we know? Where did this name come from? I have to say, when I started watching it, I thought, I don't necessarily agree with that, because sometimes anybody can search someone. I could see someone and just look at their profile, and I could put them into Google and just want to search. But I think what's interesting and what makes this too close to be a coincidence is where the search took place. And that's what we have to look at. Like you said, follow the money. What your thoughts are on that?
Thank you, my darling Aretha. I read the comments. and there was somebody who corrected me. Please correct me when I have misinformation. I don't mind. I want to learn. Somebody in the comments told me that the money that Charlie Kirk was offered, that he turned down, the money that Charlie Kirk turned down was not 1.5 million. It was 150 million.
Yes, I heard that. Okay.
A 32-year-old young guy has that enough influence, let's start there, where you feel that you need to give him 150 million because you want his influence, because you need him to sway whomever, and it's going to pay off in the long run, that you can part with 150 million. Do you see what I'm talking about? We black folk. I don't know any influencer, YouTuber, podcaster, black, that is being offered 150 million and they're turning it down, because we have to pay attention to this. Move that to the side. Just try and digest that. It occurred to me, and I didn't say anything at the time, that when they were carrying Charlie Kirk's wounded body to the car, there was not an ambulance in sight. I understood that it was an instant reaction. Let's get him help and assistance right away. It has just come to light between two individuals, of which I will play here. One being Baron Coleman, and I'm going to put a clip for you to watch.
Check this out. So this is the guy who cracked this originally. This guy, Baron Coleman. So here's another bombshell. Watch this. Israeli and Washington, D.C. IP addresses conducted unique Google searches of Timpanogos Regional Hospital. So they took Charlie Kirk not to the closest hospital with the trauma center. They took him to this farther away hospital with a regional hospital without the trauma stuff that they had at the place that was closer. Isn't that interesting? And so this guy, he finds out people were doing Google searches on that regional hospital before the assassination from Israel and from Washington, D.C. Let's watch.
I wonder if anybody Googled the hospital where they took Charlie Kirk. Wonder if anybody Googled the hospital where they took Charlie Kirk. They took him to Timpanogos Regional Hospital. That's there in the district. That's there in Utah. They have, I think, a campus in Orem, Utah. So I go District of Columbia. Here's where, again, on September 10th, 11th, right there, you see the searches for Timpanogos Regional Hospital, people looking for where they took Charlie Kirk. But you'll see this spike of interest in Timpanogos Regional Hospital out of D.C., and then no interest for 2 solid months before the shooting. But again, keep in mind that July 20 anchor date. Here we have a July 16, 2025. And then we have a July 3, and we have a June 28. And if you go out 12 months, you'll notice you even had one back then, and then this all kind of goes out. So something's going on here at the Timpanogos Regional Hospital search. And then
why would anybody from Israel or Washington, D.C. be doing a Google search for that regional hospital? Interesting, but it's clustered together. Okay, here we go.
The day before the shooting.
The day before.
Somebody in the District of Columbia says, we should really make sure we know what the Timpanogos Regional Hospital is. We really should make sure we know the day before he gets shot. So you had that July 20 anchor date, the time around there. You had a time way back. That could be anything. And then the day before, somebody zeroes in and says, we need to look up Timpanogos Regional Hospital. Maybe they're looking up an address. Maybe they're looking up, who knows? But again, I'm just reporting the facts. I'm not drawing conclusions tonight. I could give you possible conclusions you could draw. And you could draw your own conclusion, or you could just sit back and look and learn like I did. Because after Timpanogos Regional Hospital, I thought, I wonder who the medical examiner is in Utah. I wonder who the medical examiner is in Utah, because it appears to me, based on everything I've looked at, that Charlie Kirk may not have had an autopsy, which I find shocking. Because an autopsy could give you a lot of things, such as what angle did the bullet come in? Where did the bullet go? What type of bullet was it? What damages were done to the organs? Were there any other injuries? And this is going to come up in a minute. Were there any other injuries anywhere else in the body?
Oh my gosh, Charlie Kirk shot in the neck. I thought, that's weird. Who would shoot Charlie Kirk? Search Charlie Kirk shot. Notice nobody goes to CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or ABC or NBC or CBS or the New York Times or the Washington Post or AP or Reuters or UPI. Nobody goes there anymore. They go to their favorite podcaster. They go to their favorite X people 2 days ahead of time. Yeah, this comment is where I was headed. 6 months ahead for security reasons. Sure. I think there's at least a 6-month lead time from where you know where you're going to be, or at least your team knows where you're going to be, until the actual date of the performance. I mean, certainly the run of show had it before September 8th. And your security team would have to have looked at a Google map and mapped it all out.
And then we also have James Lee. They brought it to light that the nearest hospital to Utah University was bypassed. The nearest hospital that had the trauma center of where they could have assisted Charlie Kirk ASAP was bypassed. It is like me who is driving past one McDonald's that has my favorite fries and my honey mustard to go to yet another McDonald's 20 minutes down that does not have my honey mustard or my skinny fries. That's what happened that day on 9/10. And they went, instead of the trauma center, they went to another hospital, the Timpanogos Hospital. They went to the Timpanogos Hospital that was further down from this previous hospital that was closest to what the Utah University and also had the trauma center. The Timpanogos Hospital did not have the trauma center. That is one. Upon reflection, Google search, as we do, was Googling and was searching the day before the incident.
The day before.
They searched who? Tyler James, whatever he calls his last name. What's his last name?
Yeah.
Is it Robinson? Tyler James Robinson.
Yes, Tyler James Robinson.
His name was Google searched from Washington, D.C. the day before the incident that happened with Charlie Kirk.
So wait, let me ask a question now. So does this potentially mean that Tyler is in on the whole thing, or was he just an innocent? He couldn't be an innocent victim, could he? Because how would he be placed at the scene?
Do you remember when I told you that they even had to have had a rehearsal before this incident?
Oh, yes,
Do you remember when I said that?
Yes, you did.
That's what's coming into play here. They were searching all the players that were going to play a lead role on the day. This was a show. This was a show for us. And they had all the cast members and the lead players set in motion. And so they Google searched from all camps. Let me continue. What I want to understand is why Washington, D.C. would be Google searching the medical examiners, the coroners, the hospital staff of an incident that hadn't taken place and yet would most probably be the most popular case to date that particular regional hospital would ever have in the history of assassins. And when I say that, they might not even have another. And we had Lim, who jumped up to say, I did it. Because he was a detour. He was there to distract. He was told what to do. They had had this rehearsal. And I told you, follow the money. It's impossible for you not to follow the money because it will give us answers.
Can I ask a question? So you said something, and I think I misunderstood. In the beginning, you said Charlie was offered 150 million. Now, I mistook that. I thought we were talking about the value of his company.
No.
So are you saying him as an individual entity was offered 150 million?
I found out, well, I thought I found out that it was 1.5 million. And then I got corrected in the comment section, this comment section down here, to say that it was 150 million that he was offered. Yes. Yes, wow. Exactly, yes, wow.
And when was the first time you heard the name Tyler Robinson or the Losi Center, a Mauser 98? For me, and I assume many of you, it was in the days and weeks after Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination on September 10th. And you better believe I've been doing some Googling since then, right? Who is Tyler? What are the access points to the Losi Center rooftop? What kind of damage can a 30-06 caliber bullet do? But what if I told you somebody, maybe multiple somebodies, were searching those terms before September 10th? What do you think about that?
Before the shooting. Well, there's Washington, D.C. at 11 a.m., the day before the Charlie Kirk shooting. And you'll see here where the news finally broke that it was, in fact, Tyler James Robinson. But notice that. That's weird.
That is weird, I gotta say. Somebody, why would anybody be searching the name Tyler James Robinson one day before he allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk? The data point is just a tiny blip, but it's there. Tyler James Robinson, right? A name that nobody knew of prior to September 12th, 2 days after the shooting, when the media told us who Tyler James Robinson was, right? A supposed 22-year-old leftist who hated Charlie Kirk. So what does that little Google trend blip mean? Well, I did some research using Google Gemini, and they say Google Trends, what it does is normalize search interest to the region you select. The formula is search interest equals total searches in the region and time divided by total searches for the term. So when you look at things from a nationwide context, the total number of searches is enormous. The small handful of searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th is so tiny, a fraction of all the US searches, that it gets rounded down to zero. But then when you zoom in a DC context, if you filter for the District of Columbia, the total search volume is much, much smaller. So if a few searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th originated in the DC area, then this handful of searches becomes a significant enough proportion of all DC searches on that day to register a value of 18 out of 100. Then it says, and this part is critical, quote, the fact that the searches are localized to DC, a city synonymous with the federal government, intelligence, national media, and political organizations, strongly shifts the interpretation away from random noise or perpetrator checking his own name from an ambiguous anomaly into a strong potential signal of pre-event institutional knowledge or activity.
And that touches back on your point on people not understanding. I just want to draw, and it may seem a little bit all over the place. I remember I studied psychology at college. Mm-hmm. And when we were at college, apparently in the 80s, there was an advert, a Coca-Cola advert that came on in the cinemas. And it was so influential, they borderline called it hypnosis. So they had to stop it. So literally what would happen is halfway through the movie, they would play this Coca-Cola advert and everybody would rush out and go and buy a can of Coke. To the point where they said, this is no longer marketing. This is hypnosis. You're bordering on hypnotizing the people. So going back to your point that you made, and just to really drive it home, when people say, what does this have to do with us? We often sit there thinking that we are in control of our own destinies. But you need to understand, if you put 150 million behind a person, please understand his message is being infiltrated to everyone. And so people need to understand the whole free will that you think you have is not a coincidence. Somebody has planted the thought in your head which you think is yours.
My God.
Isn't it scary? It's scary to think, we're walking around thinking we're in control of our own, but often we're almost in sleepwalk mode, just being marketed to and told what to think. Sorry, anyway, no, go on.
No, please go on, because you know what it is. I am sitting here and I feel played.
Yes, exactly. I think
that's how I feel. I feel played. I feel that they truly could have gotten away with this. But social media is so powerful. It's so powerful. And it was very much white on white crime, where really a lot of people, I feel, thought that, you know what, African Americans won't cover this. It's got nothing to do with them. They're going to say, they're going to play on us, on the way we are so predictable, to say it's got nothing to do with us, so we won't touch it.
Exactly.
But no, we are touching it. Because we are realizing that the black and white lines are being blurred.
Exactly.
They are being blurred, and they're being blurred deliberately. And you know what? Let us inject hate and fear in all the black colleges, so that we don't really want to listen to what you have to say, to keep us ignorant, and not ignorant as we don't know, as in that we don't see it.
Exactly.
That it affects us. Because if we come together, America really comes together as a whole, that's it. That's it for whoever is planning, plotting, and planting seeds like this.
I'm going to send you an image, because just as you said that, it's so powerful. An image that I saw, and it's so true. This whole narrative, because I almost forgot until you just reminded me there, that in the beginning they said we're coming for the HBUs, or the HB, you know, the black colleges, and we just thought, hang on a minute, what does this have to do with black people? But like you rightly said, it's the whole divide and conquer. But if everyone understands this is bigger than race, this is nothing to do with race.
Because who is benefiting from this divide?
Exactly.
Who is benefiting from it? It's not us.
Exactly. It makes no difference to us. You know.
So who is benefiting from it? Because somebody has to stand up and say, you know what, let me open up my mind a little bit. Let me really look at this from a distance. And in hindsight, because a lot of my black American sisters and brothers tell me, Fumi, America right now is intense. I'm in England, and I am looking at it from a distance, because I don't feel the heat, and I empathize with them for that. But when do you understand what I'm saying? But because I'm from a distance, I can see that, you know what, there's something more to the meets the eye here. There's something more than this. This is not only about Charlie Kirk. Then I would have left it. I really would have, because we have lost, after all, we had Black Lives Matter. We have lost so many African Americans in horrible ways. I would have focused on that. There's so much more deep delving into this, and the money is astronomical. 150 million. He turned that down. He turned 150 million down.
And what was he expected to do with that 150 million? That's the question.
Again, PPD said it. It's not to buy a good table and a seat at a fundraiser.
Exactly. Right.
I am beginning to realize, myself included, I'm a puppet. We the puppets, all this television, all these national networks, all the front runners, television hosts, we are puppets. Because the real deal makers, movers and shakers, decision makers are the ones that only speak with their money.
Exactly. And they determine. You know, someone said something the other day. They said that the wording, it's often obvious. Someone said, just look at the wording that's used. What do we watch? We watch programs. What do? You program a person's mind. It's programming. When you start to put it together, you think it's almost hidden in plain sight what we're going through. It's hidden in plain sight. And I almost feel, you know, that video, when you sent it, it got me thinking, because I thought nothing happens by mistake. Everything is done by design. Like you said, the fact that those Google searches were done a day before, it was very strategic. They would have planned it down to the T. Could he survive going to that closer hospital? Possibly. Maybe he definitely won't make it if they go to the further one. I don't know. I'm thinking these are all the things that would have been taken into consideration. So with this being said, you can't help but wonder, why was it done in our faces? And somebody mentioned something very, very poignant in that video that said they wanted us to see. It's almost as though a message was being sent. By doing that, by taking Charlie Kirk down in front of a whole audience, there's a message that's being sent. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I agree. I 100% agree. I believe that Charlie Kirk and so many others are being used.
Yes.
He was being used. And there comes a point where you have so much money, the money doesn't matter anymore. That was where Charlie was. That was where Charlie was at. He had more power and influence than the money itself.
Yes.
That was it. And they knew this.
Yes.
He was groomed for many years. And that was why PPD said, this old lady got up and said, Charlie will do the right thing. For us to have him where we want him, put up the money.
So this then now also questions the narrative of, are we seeing a more humane version of the younger generation? Because what you touched on there, I recently just watched a podcast. I can't remember who said it. I can't remember the person that said it, but they said apparently you're right. Once the difference between 10 million and 15 million and 20 million is negligible.
Yeah.
You've reached a quality of life at 10 million pounds, dollars, whatever, that you are no longer going to exceed no matter how much further up you go, apparently.
Think about it, 100 million, 500 million, US dummy, 1,000 million. How much money can I really spend?
Lanes you can buy, so
there you go.
Things. But now what we're seeing, the fact that he turned that money down, to me almost seems like, okay, this is a chink in the armor. This is almost like out of the playbook, because nobody turns down money. But like we said, so this is why I'm asking the question of, are we seeing a different version of the younger generation? Because I don't think, you know, for all the bad press, you know, young people get, I almost feel like there's a more humanitarian version in the younger people that are seeing that. And I can't help but wonder if that's what happened with Charlie, because to turn down 150 million is no mean feat. That's no small amount. You know, you're, like you said, you can look, and it now becomes generational wealth is what's being built there. So for him to turn it down, it makes me think, who is he as a person?
Yeah. I believe that not only is the younger generation more humane, they're better than us.
Yes.
Agreed. They're much more intelligent than us. They speak their minds, and they call it like it is. It's going to be a different world in the next 10 years.
Yes.
It's going, we will not be able to recognize it, because they're going to change it.
Agreed.
And what is happening is that the older generation and the generation behind us are not seeing eye to eye and don't believe what they have been told. And you know what's worse? How we, this generation, cowardly kept quiet.
Yes.
This younger one is not.
Exactly. The gap is widening, essentially, isn't it, between the generations?
100%.
To swing it back to something else now, I'm just thinking, to me, the silence of Erica is deafening. The silence of Erica, to me, is very loud. Because I'm just thinking, if it was genuinely an incident, I mean, there's so many different angles that I want us to look at, but I'm just thinking, if she's not being, what's the word, controlled and told what to say, why wouldn't she just come out and say, guys, enough?
Because she's got children. Because she's scared, because she's afraid, because she's grieving, because she's alone, because perhaps she's being threatened, maybe she's being gagged, maybe she's been told to keep quiet. I'm giving her grace.
100%.
This was her husband. This was her husband. They had children together. Was she a plant? I don't know. I think that I am very, very much at the crossroads, because I am putting myself too much in this. And so because of that, I cannot really honestly, with a clear conscience, tell you any different, because I couldn't do it. Because I could not be a plant. I could not marry a man. I could not have children, plant children, knowing all of this, go through with all of this, destroy my life, live with a conscience as deep as this, it would eat me alive to know that I did this to another human being. I couldn't do it.
Can't fathom it.
Because of that, it's so heinous to me that I cannot imagine it for another human being. I just can't. That is one. Okay. Let's say that is not the case. She loved him, I think that she is looking at the fact that, look at what they did to my husband. They will leave my children here without a parent if I try anything.
Yes, yes, agreed.
I gave her the grace. For her, it's a lose-lose. Lose-lose. She wins nothing here.
Yeah.
She wins nothing here. Why isn't she saying this? Why isn't she saying? What is she supposed to say?
That's true. You know, all I'm pointing out to me, and you're absolutely right, and please don't, you know, I 100% agree with you. By no means am I suggesting she should become a, you know, warrior or a freedom fighter to get to the end of Charlie, because you're right, she's a mother first, and that's what she has to put at the forefront, her children.
Yeah.
I think all I'm pointing out is the fact that she hasn't, to me, is only strengthening the argument that there is no way this lone 22-year-old did this, or else there would be nothing to fear because he's been captured. That's the only point I'm making, that her silence is only further confirming to me that there are legs to these conspiracy theories. That's all I'm saying. Because if she genuinely, and any of the world genuinely believed it was Tyler Robertson, Richardson, whatever his name is, it was Tyler, then she'd say, guys, enough. They've caught the killer. You know, let me get on with my life and mourn in peace. The fact that she hasn't, like you said, completely, in my opinion, also confirms what you said. She's scared. This is bigger than her. She is being told what to say, what to do, turn up to Turning Point, or, you know, the organization, say you're taking control. Now it lets me know, to a certain extent, she's also very much a puppet.
Yeah.
The part she played in it, I don't know. I definitely think there's something sour in the milk there with her. Yeah. But I do believe that she's scared for her life and probably her children's life.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I just think that it's not that straightforward. But, you know, that's what I love about having these podcasts with you, because we can agree to disagree.
Yes, of course.
I think that she might even be loving this because it's not coming from her.
Okay. So the mouthpiece that she can't be, other people are being on her behalf.
100%.
Interesting.
100%. And I will tell you that because it happens to me every day on this channel. Because there are some times when, you know, somebody says something of color to me in the comment section. Somebody, Fumi Nation, will come right behind and say, no, you know what? You don't talk to Auntie Fumi like that. Or you don't Or she said it in the last episode where you're not listening. Do you see what I'm saying? They are my mouthpieces. They are my Fumi Nation warriors. I don't have to say it. Somebody will say it for me. In fact, sometimes I'm amused because I'm like, you're going to learn. And then when I come back,
they've learned. They've been schooled.
Yes, they've been schooled by Fumi Nation.
Good.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. When you put it like that, that's very interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of it.
Because she has nothing in this. And if she does, with time it will show. Remember that she's here. I'm giving her grace for now. Don't get me wrong. For this year, 2 years, she's got little children, but she will have to speak up at some point. I'm just giving her grace now.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's too new, it's too fresh. I know for a fact that if it was me, I would have my wig off.
Same. It's long.
I would have my wig off. Yes, I would. And I would be in the dungeons with Adrian.
Yes.
I would be with Adrian, and I would be in a wooded house by a lake somewhere with security outside.
Exactly.
And maybe, you understand me, somebody to watch Adrian while I just woke up and slept, because I am mourning privately over a very horrific, public, shocking instance that I did not see coming.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew, I have to live with this. I have to live with it. And again, I say this where you have had FBI who have gone undercover to crack down a cocaine ring, for example, drug cartel. And there have been many times when the undercover police cop have said, I got close to them and it became more than the cartel. I knew who these people were. I knew their families. And it no longer became that straightforward. Bad guy, but still a good guy. Many times you hear that.
Yeah, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
So what I'm saying is that if that was the case, where they planted Erica Kirk to be in these beauty competitions of which she had never been, pageant girl, you understand? And she went, she did all of these things. You were with this man. You lived with this man.
Yes.
For 6 years. You saw him. You talked with him. You slept with him. You slept in the same bed with each other. You got to know each other. You had children. He was kind to you at different aspects. And you woke up that morning, allegedly, hypothetically say, I'm not saying that this is the case. And you knew today was the day that you would never see him again. That's a lot for me to digest.
Yeah. I hear you.
At the same time, I hear what you're saying too. I just want to give it some time. I want to give her some grace and let her find her path, and let's find out how this will play out.
Yes.
The crime scene has been cemented. In the history of all investigations, I have never seen that.
No.
There have been so many players in this assassination. And we have hospitals that are being bypassed. You're driving past a hospital to go to the next one.
One that's built
with a trauma center. And the ambulance never showed up, ever. That means nobody ever called the ambulance.
No police, no ambulance.
Nothing. They never came to say, let us investigate, to let us come and take swabs, to find out. And then you have this older man who says that, you know what, because there's a difference here, which I've now come to find out. What he said about him having stuff about children on his computer so that he couldn't get interviewed. I'm only finding out now that that's what he said, but we don't know if there was anything on his computer.
Exactly. There's no evidence. Yes. No one confirmed or did not, you didn't confirm it. No one confirmed it. And then we go back and forth with this autopsy. Did it happen? Didn't it happen? And the reason it becomes even that much more important now, because we've had more people coming up saying that's an exit wound. It's not an entry wound. The autopsy would confirm that.
On top of which, we have the surgeon who says that Charlie had a bionic neck. It was so strong and fabulous that it did not even go through. But we don't know who the surgeon is. And then we've got a whole bunch of surgeons that have been Googled. And we are now finding out that they were Google searched before the incident happened.
Interesting.
Fumi Nation, you got to drop it down in the comments. And let me know what you think. I know some of you will be saying, Fumi, we're living and loving this wig. Are you living and loving the wig? It is by OPV Beauty. OPV Beauty did this. I live and love. It was specially done for me. And I think it is, let me see, 24 inches or maybe even longer. And I absolutely live for it. What do you think, my darlings?
Stunning.
Oh my God. What do you think of the update?
I think it's just becoming more and more clear, but also sorry, let me finish one thought. It's becoming more and more clear that what the narrative we were told is almost certainly not what happened. But also what's becoming more and more clear and a little bit, well, it's very frightening and scary and upsetting, is how little the powers that be care. Because they don't care that there's all this swarming around. It feels like they are going to watch it happen. They're going to watch
who doesn't care?
The powers that be, the people that have made this happen, because they've done it so blatantly. They've been so sloppy about it. It almost feels like a slap in our faces. Like, what are you going to do about it? Talk about it all you want, but then what? What are you going to do? And that, to me, is the bit that's really scary, because these people can literally do whatever they want, get away with anything they want. It just makes you think, what kind of world are we living in? You know, we sometimes want to hope that, okay, when things go wrong, there will be a justice system, that right is right, wrong is wrong. And for the first time, I'm truly questioning, well, what is right, what is wrong, and who is there to uphold the value system?
This was collateral damage, and they do it all the time. They've been doing it for years, for decades even. This is no new news to them. The difference was they were arrogant and ignorant because they underestimated social media.
Yes.
That was what it was. Left to them, they would even want to hire some sleuths to work in the agency, because we've come up very, very close to make them so uncomfortable that we have been able to debunk so many holes that they left for years, because there was no outlet. Because we were fed this information like the Coca-Cola in cinemas, where it would just be like a little commercial. Before you know it, you know what? I haven't had a Coke in a while. Yes, why not? I'm enjoying myself. We're at the cinema. I'm on a date. Why not? And these are the ploys that they have used for years, because it worked. It's not working anymore because social media has taken over. My husband said, Fumi, YouTube will be the new TV. And so it has. There's nobody now that doesn't watch YouTube, including myself. I don't watch television. I watch YouTube. I watch other YouTubers.
Same.
I watch you.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? Do you think they're not watching us? They're watching us. So far as we stay in our safe corner, then it's fine. But if you get a little too close, that's when things like this with Charlie Kirk becomes to be, you know what, Operation Charlie.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There's nothing new here. I think maybe it's just as we come of age, our eyes become more open to things. But like you said, this has always been happening.
Always. But this is the, you know, there's an old saying, every day for the thief, one day for the owner. That's what this was. They've been doing this, but this particular one, this is the one that's going to change the game.
Yes.
That's what it is, because they are sloppy. Because on top of the fact that they've been doing this, they were sloppy with this one. You could just look at Tyler, this 22-year-old boy who went to go and buy ice cream, who stayed on a rooftop. He had to be there. I said it before. He had to be on that rooftop for hours to know his pointers, to have the discipline, to have the zero lens focus, that he stayed there for hours. He did not eat anything. He didn't have any sandwiches, any drinks, nothing. He just stayed there, this 20-year-old boy. Okay, let's even move on from there. And after this event, he went to go and get ice cream, not a burger, not fries, no carbohydrates, nothing, to say that he's famished, if that's in the event that you have an appetite.
Exactly. Oh, that's hungry work. It's all very hungry work.
Oh, yes. Then you have this old geezer out here talking about, you know what, I live for young children. You understand? And then he's fanning all over the place. Then you have somebody else who is facing the audience while the gun goes off. You got Charlie's t-shirt that implodes. We will never know whether it was the mic. We will never know. Then they now cement the crime scene. They cement the crime scene, and we have a wife who has beautiful long hair like my wig, wears sunglasses, and is escorted by the vice president and his wife. And that is how they bring. It's a hot smoking mess. And it just reminds me of an episode out of Dallas or Dynasty back in the 80s.
Yes.
That's what this is.
Yeah, that's the level of drama we're dealing with here.
That's the level of drama. And then we have all of the internet sleuths who are coming out here and keeping this story above water. That's where we're at. Because I again, Fumi Nation, I'll tell you, my Black brothers and sisters, this was not my intent. I could easily move on and continue with something else, or go and visit our wonderful Brigitte Macron, who I know she's just sitting like this and saying to herself, thank God I have some peace. I have some I did not know, God, when I was praying to you, that you would really organize this for me in a way that you could not imagine. Thank you, Father. Because my old bones and everything, I can take my vitamins, I can go and look at my roses in my garden. Thank you. Had I known that Charlie was good, I would not have even pressed charges on this stupid thing.
She would have just let this whole thing play out.
I would have let it go to let it play out. I didn't have the patience.
Oh God bless you. For a minute.
I'm telling you.
For a minute.
So that's it, my darling Fumi Nation. Let us know down in the comment section. We are living and loving you. We love your feedback, your constructive feedback. And we'll see you. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you sooner than later. Do not forget to subscribe, my darlings, to beautiful Aretha on her YouTube, on her Instagram, on her TikTok. And let us keep the conversation popping. Take it out, my darling Aretha.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a blessed week moving forward. And thank you once again, Auntie Fumi, for having me. As always, I've loved it.
The pleasure is what? The pleasure is mine, my darling. We'll see you on the next one. Mwah! All of my love.